Hi Year 3, this is your Friday comprehension session. And today we're going to be looking at Mary Seacole. Now, yesterday we looked at Rosa Parks and I went through the text like normal, went through the questions to help you. But again, like on normal Friday, it's going to be a bit more independent. So it's quite a lot of text this time. So I've zoomed out for you there, but still not showing all of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in to make sure you can read it. And I'd like you to pause the video so that you can read the start of it. So let me move it there for you. So pause the video now and have a read of that first, and then I'll move it down for you so you can read the rest. I'd like you to read it independently before I read it to you. Okay, hopefully you read that section. So I'm going to move it down now for you to read the rest. Okay, if you haven't read all of that, pause it again so you can finish it off. And I'm going to read it to you. There's a few trickier words in there, and there's a few things that we've learned about already in school. I know you learned about Mary Seacole in Year 2. So let's have a read of the text. So we've got a map over here, which is showing Crimea and Jamaica, because that's what we're going to look at in our text. So again, it is non-fiction, so it's an information, factual text. It's got subheadings, like our Rosa Parks one had. It's in paragraphs, like our Rosa Parks one was, and it is all factual. So our first one says, in Jamaica, Mary Seacole was a Jamaican nurse who lived 200 years ago. When she was a young woman, she set up a hospital in Jamaica to care for sick and wounded British soldiers. Next paragraph. In Crimea, in 1854, Mary heard that there was a war in Crimea. Britain, France, and Turkey were fighting against Russia. Many of her soldier friends went to fight there. Mary went too, so she could help to care for them. Life was hard for the soldiers. It was cold and there was snow on the ground, but they had to live in tents. Everything was dirty, even the drinking water. Conditions were so bad that more soldiers died of cold and illness than in battle. So to say that again for you, so because it was so cold, I had to live in tents and it was snowing, and because things were so dirty and the water was dirty, more soldiers died of being cold and being unwell from drinking the dirty water and living in dirty conditions than actually died in the battle with the other countries. At the beginning of the war, most of the hospitals were dirty and overcrowded, so it was difficult for soldiers to get better. Florence Nightingale. A nurse called Florence Nightingale was sent to Crimea by the British government to look after their soldiers. She made changes to the nearest hospital so that at least it was clean and each soldier had his own bed. However, her hospital was in Turkey, so soldiers had to travel a long way by boat to get there. The British Hotel. Mary Seacole set up the British Hotel close to the battlefield in Crimea so that she could care for the soldiers who were sick and injured. It was only a small wooden building, but inside it was warm and clean, and soldiers could buy hot meals and supplies. She wasn't paid by the government, so the soldiers had to pay for their own care. Mary prepared medicines for the sick and treated the wounds of the injured. She was kind to the soldiers, and they called her Mother Seacole. Since Mary Seacole was able to help soldiers close to the battlefield, they received treatment much faster than those who had to travel by boat and cart to hospital. So Florence Nightingale was sent to Crimea to help them, but they had to travel to Turkey for her to help them. So Mary Seacole's one was closer by, which helped them, and more would survive that way. After the war. After the Crimean War, Mary Seacole moved to live in Britain. She didn't have much money, but some of the soldiers she had cared for during the war tried to help her. They even had a big concert and gave her the money they raised from it. Okay, so they are the texts. That's the text that we're focusing on today. And then your questions. Now, you've got 9 questions. I'm going to zoom out a little bit for you. So again, this was all sent out to you at the beginning of the week. If you want to pause the video now, that's absolutely fine to have a look at those 9 questions. I'm going to read them to you, but then I'm going to ask you to do them independently. I'm just going to give you a few little tips to help you, but then you're going to work through them independently. Now, first of all, have a look at the marks. Sometimes the marks tell us what they're expecting. But these are all worth 1 mark, except question 8 is worth 2 marks. That one's worth 2 marks. I'll come on to that. I'll try and explain why once we get to that one. So question 1, it says, look at the first paragraph. Find and copy, exactly what we had in Rosa Parks' text yesterday, 1 word that means the same as injured. Now, Rosa Parks one, we looked at the word laws, which meant rules. So again, you need to look in the first paragraph. So that's this section here, and you're having a look for another word that means injured. So have a read of that paragraph. Question 2. Look at the paragraph beginning in 1854. List 4 countries that were fighting in the Crimean War. So you're looking at the paragraph that starts with in 1854, which is here, and you're looking for the countries that were fighting. And the question is asking you for 4 countries, and you have to list them all, 4 of them. If you only list 3, you won't get that 1 mark. Question 3. Conditions were so bad. Which word is conditions closest in meaning to? So we said the conditions were so bad because it was dirty, it was cold, they had dirty drinking water, they had to sleep on the floor in tents. So that's what the conditions were. They were so bad. So it's asking you, what does it mean? Which one of these 4 words is conditions closest in meaning to? Tick 1 box. Illnesses, preparation, requirements, environment. Now, I often put the word into the sentence instead of conditions to see if it makes sense. For example, you could say you could say illnesses were so bad. Was it just the illnesses? Preparation was so bad. Try it with the 4 words and see which one makes more sense. Conditions, what other word means similar to conditions? Okay, question 4. Write 1 way in which Florence Nightingale improved the hospital in Crimea. So you're looking at Florence Nightingale now, so that means you're going to be focusing on the Florence Nightingale paragraph. So you're going to read that paragraph again. You're going to be looking at what she did to improve the hospital in Crimea. Okay, question 5. Why do you think soldiers did not have to pay for the care at Florence Nightingale's hospital? So think carefully. They had to pay for the treatment at Mary Seacole's. Why do you think the soldiers did not have to pay for the care at Florence Nightingale's hospital? You may need to have another read of Florence Nightingale's paragraph, and some of Mary Seacole's paragraphs may help you as well, where they said they did have to pay. She wasn't paid by the government, so the soldiers had to pay for their own care. Okay, who sent Florence Nightingale to Crimea? That might help you with your answer. So read those 2 paragraphs very carefully. That's a bit of a trickier one, but think carefully. Who sent Florence Nightingale to Crimea? So who might be paying for the healthcare? Mary Seacole wasn't being paid by the government. There's a little clue there to help you. Okay, question 6. Why do you think Mary Seacole set up the British Hotel close to the battlefield? So I said that when I was reading the text, remember I said how it would help not having to travel by boat to Turkey to go to Florence Nightingale's hospital. Why would it help the soldiers being close to the battlefield, having the Mary Seacole's British Hotel? If you need to read more on that, that's fine. You can read up about the British Hotel there to read up and find out your answer. Okay. Question 7. The soldiers called her mother Seacole. Find and copy evidence to explain why they did this. So you need to find and copy the exact evidence to explain why they did this. So you need to look in the text for the words mother Seacole. Be careful you don't find Mary Seacole, looking for mother Seacole. It's quite near the bottom if I remember correctly. You might have to skim the text and have a look for the word mother Seacole. I'll give you a clue. It's in this paragraph here. So skim this text carefully to find it, and you need to find and copy the exact answer for why they called her Mother Seacole. Question 8, which is worth 2 marks. Put 1 tick in each row to show whether each statement about Mary Seacole is true or false. So each row needs 1 tick. It can't be true and false. So true means it's correct, false means it's not. It can't be both of them. She went to Crimea to help look after British soldiers. Is that true or false? She worked in the same hospital as Florence Nightingale. True or false? She was paid by the British government. True or false? She made medicines for the soldiers. True or false? It's worth 2 marks because if you get 3 out of 4 right, you would get 1 mark. You wouldn't get the last mark unless all of them were right. And the last question, number the events to show the order that Mary Seacole did them. So we just did that with Rosa Parks. We numbered the events that happened with Rosa Parks. You do the same thing with Mary Seacole. So 1, 2, 3, 4. She set up the British Hotel. She set up a hospital in Jamaica. She went to live in England. She travelled to Crimea. So you're going to write the numbers or write the sentences in order or which order they happened in. And if you need to look back at the text, that's absolutely fine. It's there to help you. Okay, I'm going to leave the text on the page for you to help. If you need any other help, then please ask someone at home, or you can always put it on Tapestry to say that you needed some help. But really try to find the answers because they are all there. Good luck. Have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you next week, still at home, but hopefully it's getting sooner. We'll hopefully be able to see you very soon in school. Bye, Year 3. Have a lovely weekend.